Stefan, let some people get in here, get warmed up for a brand new episode of Steve Covino's Sauna of Rage. Not a whole lot to rage about. I let it build. You can't just come here and rage for no reason. So I have a list of things to rage about. Rich in Atlanta, what's up, man? KCT, Tom B. Repeat after me in Tom B's. Mecca leka hi, mecca honey ho. What's up, Stefan? What's up, Crystal? Good evening, Thursday evening. Getting ready for a free Twitch Friday tomorrow. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday night football. Giants, Washington. Every time I see Washington football team WFT, I think, what the fuck? What does that mean? Giants, what the fuck? What's up, Franz? What's up, Jake? All right, sounds nice and wooden. Nice wooden acoustics. Let's get ready to rage, everybody. Can you hear me? Or is the music too loud? Busted out some CDs for this raging session. So, again, you look for inspiration, right? You can't just rage. I'm not here to fake the funk. What's up, John? And I was watching the Yankee game, like a must-win game, and that really inspired me to come here and rage it out a little bit. I might have to lower it a little bit. I don't want to, but I might have to. Again, if you didn't see the show today, happy Mexican Independence Day. Hispanic Heritage Month began yesterday. Cool. Celebrate it. Even the month crosses the border. How do you like that? I saw someone posted that today. Thank you guys for being here. Slowpoke Rodriguez forever. All right, so the Yankees really inspired me, but I'm not going to start with them. I'll build to them. They just suck. So last night, I haven't used the sauna much other than to rage in. And I haven't even had much to rage about lately. But last night I was like, you know what? Let's sweat out some of this booze, some of these toxins. Let me enjoy my sauna. Let me get in there. I got it refurbished and I got in, and it's a bit of a process, I grabbed some towels, I grabbed my water, I try to find the right music to chill in. I try to set it ahead of time so I could get into my sauna and sweat it out for like 30 to 40 minutes. I let some time pass after I set it. I came back and I'm sitting here for like 10 minutes and I'm like, it's not getting hot. And just like that, out of nowhere, my sauna of rage just isn't working anymore. So I don't know if it's more appropriate, more fitting, but the sauna that I'm actually sitting in right now doesn't even work. I don't know if a fuse blew or maybe it just blows. Or maybe, it expired. I have no idea. But I have this nice looking sauna, this HealthMate infrared sauna that's a little old, but not like, it doesn't look like really worn or like it was used a lot. And I never had a problem with it or an issue with it. And now all of a sudden it's just not working, just like that. So I was so fired down yesterday to, really get in here and sweat it all out, lose some of that water weight. I definitely got a lot of water weight because I've been boozing. But not every night like Rich. Just doing damage on the weekend. Should be a simple fix. I hope so, Rich, but I feel like everything in my life is always, just a little simple fix. I couldn't just go in there and enjoy the night, And I sat there like an idiot for like 10 minutes. Like, no, I don't get hot. Jordan came out like to just say hi, and I'm like, I don't think it's working. I'm sitting there like a slob. It's not even on. But anyway, that was yesterday. So that kind of fired me down because now, is that more money? I'm not gonna have this thing. Brother-in-law never calls, but he calls me now. So sorry for that slight interruption. So hopefully it's an easy fix, maybe just a fuse. But I don't know anything about this, and I'm not gonna keep this piece of wood in my house for no reason. You know what I mean? So I I want to have it functioning. So is it going to cost me a few $100 for some jagoff to tell me it's just the fuse? Like, I don't know. I looked it up online. I can't figure it out. So my sauna doesn't work. So welcome to my broken sauna of rage, which is maybe better. What's up, Rich? Could be the breaker. I don't know. The music's playing, the power's on, but the heaters aren't going. So anyway, again, I'm building my rage. So you gotta feel my frustration there, you know? It's rare that I want to use it. It's like when you want to watch your favorite TV show, you finally sit down, it's on, and it's like a repeat that you saw 1,000 times. One of those things. Remember those old school feelings? You're like, oh, the one time I sit down to watch, and it's the same fucking one I saw last time. Remember those feelings before DVR and on demand and things like that? The one time I want to come in here and sweat it out doesn't work. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing, I really needed inspiration to get in here today, right? Because I don't want to be negative. I don't want to bring negative shit. But I was watching the Yankees, and it's a must-win. Every game's a must-win, and they lose to the Baltimore Orioles because Gary Sanchez is a lazy shit. Like, I don't even know if it was really his fault, but in my mind, it's his fault. Like, pathetic. He's so pathetically bad. Better than I could ever imagine being myself, but he's just terribly lazy and frustrating, and I think he sucks. The Yankees got to get rid of this guy. I feel like he's like a detriment to the team. They lost basically on a wild pitch because he was too fat and lazy to reach and get it. It could have been a miscommunication between the pitcher, but the ball got behind the catcher, run scores, tied game, and then the Orioles win in extra innings. I mean, the Yankees can't lose these games to the Orioles, but the way they lost is so disheartening. So I got so mad, and I'm like, man, maybe I should rage tonight. Get it off my chest. Get it off my chest. John, what's with the umps telling the grounds crew to get out? The grounds crew probably came out because Aroldis Chapman was sweating like a beast. It wasn't because of the rain, it was because of the sweat from this guy, because he sucks too. Here's a guy sweating like a madman because he knows his job's on the line, and that, you know, he's in a scary situation every night because he's so unreliable. This guy sweats like you don't even believe. So much that the grounds crew came out to cover the field yesterday. So anyway, the Yankees fired me down so hard, so frustrating. My hair was like this, like Kramer, like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And then I went to social media, and one of my old school buddies, one of my childhood friends, said something that I completely agreed with, my buddy Jason. He goes, I'll never stop rooting for the Yankees. I've rooted for them since I was a little kid. But in my 45 years of existence, I've never disliked the team so much in my life. It's because of this roller coaster. Yeah, they had some good streaks, but man, are they terrible. When they suck, they suck. And, you know, stick a fork in them. They're 8.5 back in the AL East, so forget about that. Tampa Bay got that. And now they're 0.5, half game out in the wild card race. And there's 2 spots, I get it, but they're still a half game out now. Pathetic. They're so pathetically bad. The way they lost tonight, again, a wild pitch. A wild pitch. It's just terrible. Or a pass ball. I think it was a pass ball. Gary Sanchez. Suck chess. So at least they inspired me to get in here and rage a little bit. So my sauna broke. Yankees stink. They're now a half game out of the wild card race. And here's another one. When I moved into this house, right, it had all the greatest potential in the world. Yeah, the Braves, yeah, they're going through some slumps. They're up and down too. So this house was full of potential, man. You know, my view is beautiful. Check this out. Check out my view, guys. Look at that. So I can only complain and rage so much. But when I first moved in here, all the floors were white, right? So I was like, hey, listen, man, before I move in, I need these regrouted because it looks a little dirty. Looks like some spots are missing or whatever. So they regrouted the entire, you know, living room, dining room, all that area. And slowly but surely, it all started coming out and peeling away and like cracking. I'm like, what's that about? So I kept doing my diligence and, you know, filling it in. I even went lengths of putting like caulking in there just to keep shit in. But then it started looking like a mixture of caulk and grout. I'm like, yeah, that's weak sausage. Weak sauce for this type of place. This place is too good for that. So then I hired one of Rich's contractors to come here and regrout everything. So even though I just had it regrouted like 9 months ago when I moved in, 10 months ago, and all my little minor repairs, it still wasn't working. So I had to hire someone else. I didn't spend a lot of money, but I spent enough money for a guy to come in and regrout all the bad parts. And sure enough, when you know it, you know what I find myself doing every spare moment? Regrouting all the parts that keep chipping up and coming out. So the grout won't stick. This rant is called, this moment of rage is brought to you by the grout won't stick. I don't know what to do. It won't stick, it cracks, it crumbles, it chips away all the time. So much so that it looks like there's holes in between the grout sometimes. And I'm there every day like an asshole putting new grout in. Every day. Jordan actually yelled at me. She goes, if you're gonna use the grout, can you stop putting it in the ramekins? Because it's not like coming out now. So she's saying that the things we dip our sauces into all have like grout residue on it because I'm there like a maniac because I just paid to get this done. And I'm not saying they did something wrong. I'm just saying the grout won't stick. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what they did wrong. It was probably, the floors were probably installed wrong from the start, not allowing it to stick properly. And I'm led to believe that's the truth. So I don't know how I'm gonna resolve this issue, but it drives me berserk, especially when you pay to get the job done. The grout goes wild. The grout goes wild. It drives me crazy. The pen is blue. The pen is blue. The grout, little grout remnants. I put my foot up, like, what's this little white piece on my sock? More grout coming up. The grout keeps cracking. Drives me berserk. Flex Seal doesn't mix with the grout. Why is there some grout that's hard, right? You go in someone's bathroom, feel the grout. It's like sandpaper, it's hard. And then other grout's like powdery bullshit. I get it, some sand and some's not, but this doesn't fucking stick. It's driving me berserk. And I'm there on my hands and knees filling in grout like 3 times a week all over the house because it keeps cracking. But you get the point. You get the frustration. You get the rage, especially when I just paid for that shit to get fixed. You pay for solutions too. I thought they were gonna like come up with a solution like, here it is, it's done. No worries about this anymore. I'm still dealing with this bullshit. Little things piss me off. Here's something that bothers me. I told a story the other day about how I got dissed at the barber shop. They dished me off to the not so great barber. I don't play that. That pissed me off. If you guys didn't hear that story, you gotta listen back on the Patreon. I'm not gonna repeat it, but I don't pay for the third fiddle, the third trumpet, the third chair. Like, I want the dope dude to cut my hair. That's why I called. I tried to make an appointment with the best guy. And they dished me off to the person that no one wanted. But as a nice guy, I just rolled with it. I didn't know what to do. But as I told that story on the air, I got multiple people. I'm not calling anyone out in particular. It was multiple people hitting me up, questioning my character description. Questioning my character description when my job is to tell a story. Theater of the mind. This is what I do. This is what I do. But no one questioned when I said, yeah, I wanted the scrawny vato to cut my hair. The scrawny vato. I wanted that guy to cut my hair. But instead I got person B. Actually, person C. And I got a few people like, why does that matter in this story? It's like, well, I'm trying to paint a picture here. I'm like Bob Ross of storytelling. How does that not matter? Like, we live in such a sensitive world, I can't even describe what the person looks like. People commit crime and they're scared to describe to the officer what the person looks like in fear of being a bad person. I witnessed this firsthand the other day. Jordan and I were walking and there was a policeman trying to get a report from a kid, some kid working at like a magazine stand selling trinkets. And I hear the kid saying, yeah, they just ran off with the stuff and he took it. And he's like, can you tell us what the person looks like? He's like, well, it was a guy. And let's just say I'm cutting this story short because he was scared to describe the guy. Like, character description is bad in today's world. I don't get it. That makes me rageful. I mean, he looked like a guy, I think. I mean, I don't want to assign gender. Could have been Hispanic, maybe Indian, but I don't want to, maybe Mexican, but he could have been Guatemalan. Hey man, I'm just trying to, And the officer's like, yo, what did he look like? I witnessed this whole thing. I can't even tell a story and say, yeah, the Mexican dude. Yeah, he looked, the Hispanic guy. Yeah, the slightly overweight person. I can't do that without being criticized. How does that matter? Because everyone's itty-bitty feelings get hurt so much. It's crazy. It's berserk. It's what I do for a living. I do my best to dance around these issues. Any questions, guys, as we rage together? So, character description. I thought it was an art. Not anymore. Guys, untrained. I don't know what that means, Stefan, but what's up? I hate to say it, but I think a lot of it has to do with the state you guys live in. Oh, don't even get me started with that. Don't even get me started. It absolutely does. That doesn't help these scenarios. I think everyone's on their toes and on their best behavior. They try, but it's gone ridiculous. I can't even tell a story. What's up, Jeremiah? All right, so character description. Grout won't stick. Yankees suck. My sauna doesn't work. How about this, guys? It's kind of cool. This is a double-edged sword, right? I lost my full-time status at Sirius XM after being full-time for 17 plus years, right? Tough pill to swallow, but we decided to move the show to South Beach and do different things, and we took a chance. But long story short, I lost dental benefits. So if my teeth aren't as chiclet-like as they used to be, I haven't gotten them cleaned, right? I just do my best with my quip. But at the time, they couldn't justify how I would fit full-time, right? They couldn't find the shift, so I understood, I did. But since then, I've proven to be a very valuable asset, very versatile to the company. As I keep saying, I'm like dog shit. I'm everywhere. I'm on mornings on Lithium all next week. I'm on Boneyard weekends. I'm on Turbo every night. I'm on Fox Sports Radio, SXM 83. I'm everywhere. So guess what? I think I've proven that there's an argument to be made that I am qualifying for full-time status. I'm doing more work than anybody. And it's per shift. I'm doing enough shifts to really readdress this conversation. But what's baffling to me is how quick people are to take off providing me with all this opportunity. So yeah, I'm stoked to get the opportunity, stoked to build a case that I should be full-time. But I'm sort of aggravated that the people that have the full-time status are the ones taking off every other week. It's crazy how different the work ethic is compared to mine. I mean, I did the shit, I never took off. You could take these things to record wherever you go. Why do people need to take off so much? I don't get it. It's crazy. It's wild. So it's okay, so the people you hired and deemed worthy of full-time are the ones that are never here. But the guy who's considered part-time with no benefits, he's the guy you're relying on all the time to fill in these spaces. And he's better. But you ain't heard that from me. In what world does that make sense? I don't get it. But maybe I'm building an argument. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. But how do I care and put more effort in and work more as a part-time guy than the people that are full-time? Not all of them. Some of them. It's BS. It makes no sense. But maybe it gives me the proper ammo that I need to make a case. But just saying, work ethic down the drain. We've talked about this before. Welcome to my sauna of rage. Yeah, I mean, I'm out there, man. I'm everywhere. How can they not recognize that, yeah, this dude is, I think he's proven that there is room for him. Again, when this all came down, it happened suddenly. They're like, yeah, we don't know how we could justify full time. You're only on turbo. Well, since then, I'm everywhere. So can we readdress this? Because I'm on more than the people that are full time. I'm on for them. I don't know how I'm part time still. I'll tell you, Matt, I've sent an email to talk about this to no response. Something else that you might want to rage about, but I'll take the high road. Let's just say I'm building a case. So that's another thing. I have no dental benefits. Like, what the fuck is that about? Anyway, that pisses me off. That really does. Just not even the amount of work I'm putting in, the fact that I don't have dental benefits. That sucks. But again, I'm still a part of it. I'm still there. I still am very prideful and proud to be a part of it. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying I should have some benefits. All right. Let me ask you guys a question. Wikipedia. I still have any clout to anybody, Wikipedia? Because I have to be honest, to me it used to. But does it still? Wikipedia. I know you can't believe everything you read on Wikipedia. It's not always true. But does it have any clout to anyone? Wikipedia? Even future people, let me know. Welcome, future people, to my Sauna of Rage. Leave a comment right here on the Patreon. Leave a comment. Makes me feel good after raging. I need it. Well, I had a Wikipedia page for like 13 years. I don't know how. I had a cool little written profile, and you know, it doesn't mean shit, but people would be like, yo man, I saw your Wikipedia page. People put value on it. I really didn't care. I'm like, yeah dude, I'm on the radio every day. But other people seem to put value on it. So I kind of liked it a little bit. What happened was, after having a Wikipedia page, for a long ass time, a lot of our faithful listeners decided to mess with it a lot, and if I said something stupid, they would edit it, and they would submit it, and they were messing with my Wikipedia all the time. Like if I said, said something stupid, right? They would add that to my fun facts on Wikipedia, like every day. So eventually people, editors, who are on these power trips over there, these power tripping, monster magnet power tripping editors with nothing else to do, they started to get wind like, who is this guy? Why is his listeners fucking with his page all the time? And they flagged me, and they were like, yeah, this is ridiculous. And they took my Wikipedia off. And that kind of fired me down. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how much I cared about it until they took it down. The Carls were just messing. Now they took my page down. So I went out of my way to try to get it back up. To deal with the most grumpy people on a power trip you ever saw or heard of. They're like, yeah, basically telling me, swear to God, straight up. And maybe the truth hurts. They're like, yeah, come back to me when your career takes off. Swear to God, I'm not even kidding you. I'm like, yeah, but I had a Wikipedia forever. And they're like, yeah, maybe if you get more of a high profile gig in the future, we could look into this and possibly reinstate it. But right now, I'm summing it up, but they're like, you're just not important enough for it. And I'm like, Wikipedia, Rob Jimenez. But they couldn't have been more rude about, yeah, his references are just really weak, and his career really isn't that great. Just a bunch of random references, and yeah, he doesn't deserve a Wikipedia page. Then their excuse was, they have a Covino and Rich Wikipedia page. That's suffice for this guy. Mind you, they're like foot models with a Wikipedia page. There's so many unimportant people who are full of shit that don't do anything with a Wikipedia page, right? Like people who fucking pose with their ass out on TikTok have Wikipedia pages. A guy who's been on multiple national platforms isn't cool enough. It's fucking berserk. Now, it might not matter in the world of blue check marks and verifications on social media, but it mattered to me, and it was gone. So they're like, no, come back to us when you get a gig on ABC. Like, come back to us when you really matter, because you don't. I swear to God, I'm not lying. So it's like a real kick to the nuts. And all I was trying to get was my page reinstated. Like, look, I had one. Hey man, I'm a big supporter, I don't know. And I had nothing to do with it being removed. It's your fault. I'm just kidding, I know you're having fun, but That's the truth. So they were like, well, you got the Covino and Rich page. That's good enough. And wouldn't you believe it? Covino and Rich Wikipedia has been removed. 17 years as a brand on a national platform with TV shows on New York City, NBC affiliates, ESPN, Fox Sports Radio. We're now removed. Covino and Rich as a brand removed from Wikipedia. Wikipedia. And I saw that some of our listeners, I didn't know this, I just found this out recently. Like Mercer Man went there and was like, hey, trying to make an edit. Why isn't their page up? Because you could see the edits and the attempts made. And these fucking power tripping editors, these nobodies who deem you worthy or not, were like, yeah, Covino and Rich don't belong on Wikipedia. And, you know, and Mercer's like, they're on all these national platforms, why not? Like, there's someone out there, I swear to God, I'm not making this up, you could see it in the edits and in the responses as to why it's not being approved. You could see the back and forth, and they're like, yeah, they're just not important enough. And I'm some nobody editor who deemed that so. I'm some nobody. I'm a nobody. And I deem them not worthy enough. Swear to God. It's fucking wild. So, Wikipedia, fuck yourself. Fuck yourself. And then I was, you know, being grumpy with Jordan about it. I'm like, look what they're saying about us. We're nobodies. She's like, it doesn't mean anything anyway. No one cares about that. You know, all they care about is if you're verified on Instagram, which we are. But that shit bothers me. So if anyone has any connections or ways to add our references and you have knowledge in this area, please make this happen because it bothers me. Just on principle now. All right, you really, like I said, this is a build. This is a build. I'm not gonna harp, but the child support system is broken. Like there's so many protests. Like the divorce, the system, it's broken. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense, especially if we live in this equal world of equal, right? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. When there's so many people protesting things, justice for Lindsay. Where are the guys making these rules what they should be today? If men are so powerful in today's world, why aren't they making it fair for men when it comes to divorce? Because it's not. Long story short, a lot of people may not know this, and I'm not saying that anyone is taking me for a ride. I'm telling you how the system is broken. System, okay? Basically lost 2 full-time jobs, right? And we put the pieces together to create the Patreon. Kept our job as serious. I kept the part-time job as serious. We have Fox Sports Radio now. Would you believe, long story short, that unless it's approved by the court and everybody agrees legally that I now owe less because I lost 2 full-time jobs, unless everybody agrees and it's approved by the court, I am still bound to what I was paying in child support when I had 2 full-time jobs. Do you guys follow that? Unless it's legally agreed upon and signed off on by everybody, I am legally bound to pay what I was paying when I had 2 full-time jobs that I no longer have. Isn't that berserk? That's not an ex's fault or an ex-husband's fault, wife's fault. That's a broken system. If I tell the lawyers in the court I lost my jobs, shouldn't it be automatic that, hey, I guess he pays less now? Should be automatic, right? It was pretty easy when I had to pay more because I got a better job. Think about it. When I got a better job and I was making good money, it was really easy to all of a sudden have to pay more. That shit happened like that. But when you lose a job, you're still legally bound to what you were paying until it's agreed upon. And let's just say court dates coming soon. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Child support. Every guy should pay it. But the system's broken. Broken. In so many ways. But I don't want to be disparaging. I'm keeping it about the system. Broken. Raging. Burn, burn, let me watch it burn. All right. I saw a post that bothered me. We talked about pets. By the way, Mercer, back me up on the Wikipedia page. Back me up on what they said. Please back me up. Leave it in the comments. Mercer, leave it in the Patreon comments on what Wikipedia said to you about our approval. Thank you, Mercer, for being here. I was reading social media today, and we had a conversation about pets being allowed into supermarkets and shit like that. And again, it's different here in California. I see woofles in the supermarkets, in Target, in Walmart. I know it's not the same everywhere. It's a little out of control here in California. Everything is. And it's not right. And as much as I love the guy, I really do. Ian Kennedy, yeah, I love the guy. I really, really do. He's a great dude and he supports us so much. I say this kindly, but I say this on behalf of anyone else who agrees with him. You're out of your fucking mind. He says his dog is greater than your kid. Anyone that thinks that way has a fucking screw loose, at least when it comes to that. So Ian, great guy, love him. I'm so thankful for his support as the leader of the Carls, the Covino and Rich listeners, but he also represents a lot of people that feel that way. He does. So I'm not singling him out. It was his post. He posted it publicly in our group. So I'm just politely saying you're out of your mind. Anyone that thinks that is out of their minds. Like, I'm not saying don't love your dog. Dog's great. You know, love it as much as you can. You know, it's a wonderful dog and they're helpless and they rely on you and they're beautiful creatures. Man's best friend. But not Ian's dog, anybody's dog. Your dog, greater than little Em and Benny, or Emmy and Ben, or Melody, or any kid out there, anyone that really thinks that, has no concept on what it is to love a child. That's really what it comes down to. And I know you love your dog. So imagine how much you love your dog times a million. You're out of your mind. Like it's fool's talk. The end. Your dog. Dog licks buttholes. Great dog, but it's a dog. Let's keep our priorities in check, guys. Pets are pets. And could I end on this? It's kind of silly. But because there's some validity there, right? But I was going back and forth with this guy today. What's up, Matt? What did Sheena say? Here for the silly. What's up, Lisa? Here for the silly? But you gotta understand it's rageful. If you look like Rich Davis, no one asks you what you are, ever. They don't care. When you look like me or Matt Ellis, people ask you all the time. It's humorous, it's funny, it just is. I don't care, I don't take it personal, it's just, I always thought that's how life was. And then I realized, oh no, people ask me that all the time, not everybody. Like, people don't ask Jordan what she is all the time. She just is. But guess what? I just am too. And it's funny how I have to defend like what I am and what I'm not all the time. Some guy he was complimentary, so I don't want to call him out. But he was like, yo, I really like that, you know, you're embracing your Mexican side. He said, ever since you moved to LA. I'm like, ever since I moved to LA? I was like, as far as I knew, I've always been Mexican, not just when I moved to LA. And it's just a weird scenario to be in. You know, granted, when I was in New York, I was dating an Italian girl. I was surrounded by Italian friends and fucking pizza places at every corner. So the people you're with, your surroundings, and everything else equals maybe your conversations are different. But I wear that side of my life proudly every day. My last name's Covino. My profile picture is a mob photo of me as Robert De Niro in an Italian mob movie called Goodfellas. You know, And, you know, maybe I joke a lot about that stuff, but I didn't just decide to own it. I didn't just decide to be Mexican a few years ago. Like, I always was. In fact, I'm probably less Mexican here in LA than I was in New Jersey. Because I'm not even Mexican at all compared to the Vatos out here. But in Jersey, I was like the only one. But I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I believe Popeye said that. But I'm saying that. I'm a little bit of this, I'm a little bit of that. But I don't need to prove that to everybody all of the time. Sometimes I lean like a cholo. Sometimes I'm saying gabagool. You know why? Because that's what I am. Slightly Vato. I don't need to prove that to anybody. But this guy was, in a backwards way, saying that, like, I just became that. But then he was like, no. I appreciate it because I'm glad that you embrace it. I'm like, I've always embraced it. I've never not embraced it. So for you to imply that I just sort of had this realization and embraced it is a little annoying to me. It's a little insulting because I've always been me. Not just when you decided to realize that. You know what I mean? It's a very confusing scenario to embrace or understand unless you live it. I didn't just decide to be who I am. I am who I am. It's fucking weird. It's weird. And, you know, I start thinking about it. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I do shout it out a little more because I want to make the people who get a bad rap a lot of times proud. You know, so maybe I do shout out the Vatos a little more because I think they get a bad rap and a bad reputation sometimes. You know, if you peer into what people are talking about. So, hey man, you know, maybe I'm like, yeah, they're not all just landscapers or dudes working at the restaurant. You know, they're doing fucking cool shit. And maybe I do take a little pride and shout that out. But that doesn't mean I just decided to become what I've already been my whole life. But I get faced with these questions all the time, and I laugh them off, but they're fucking annoying. And I sort of get it, so I'm not that mad, but it does bother me. Yeah. Thank you, Sheena. If anything, he said in the past, since I moved to LA, I've been more Mexican. He appreciates it. I'm like, well, honestly, I'm glad you appreciate it, but if anything, I think I'm viewed not Mexican at all out here because I don't even speak Spanish. Like, I look a little slightly Vato. If anything, all the Italian kids I grew up with, they viewed me as Mexican because I wasn't really all that Italian. Or they saw me for who I was. They knew me long enough to understand, like, oh yeah, he's a mix. So anyway, when people question you, when, like, you know your truth, it's a weird feeling, and it does make you mad a little bit. Fills me with rage, but I calm down and I relax and I say, thanks for listening, man. I know from your perspective, that's how you feel. But from my truth, I've always been. It's not like something I just discovered. Simple as that. If anything, I feel less Mexican because the matriarch of my family passed away. My grandma. I mean, that side of my culture is pretty much gone. So maybe I keep it alive by bringing it up. You know, but it doesn't mean it's not who I am, you know? So anyway, on that note, the Yankees suck. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, as we discussed. Mexican Independence Day today. Viva la raza, you know. Maybe I have been more Mexican since being out here in LA. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for raging with me. Please leave a comment. The system is broken. Get me on Wikipedia. And if you're doing anything every night, you're a maniac. Too much of anything every night is too much. Thank you, Franz. Viva John. Stefano. See you mañana. Free Twitch Friday. Thank you guys for your orders of merchandise. Really appreciate that. We have Sauna of Rage t-shirts available. Lots of cool things. They're being mailed out. Patience. They will get to you, I promise. And leave a comment. Future guy, leave a comment on Patreon. We'll go back and forth, keep this going. Enjoy your Thursday night football. Let's have a great weekend. Thank you, Lisa. Rage for life. Vatos Locos forever.